Hello, investors. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I want to talk about SentinelOne. So, SentinelOne just reported their Q3 2022 results. I'm going to go through and discuss that. Just keep in mind that their fiscal year and calendar year are misaligned. So, I'm going to just talk about the fiscal year, okay? So, they put out a very strong result and they also put out some very attractive guidance. So, we're going to talk through that. I'm going to talk some of the aspects that I've been highlighting about the stock for some time now. And then we're going to bring this all together and talk about its valuation. So, here's the thing, right? So in the past several weeks, many growth names have really come on sale. So this is the backdrop right now, right? So high quality names are really on sale right now. And you can see that the stock is down about 28% up to yesterday. And then it's kind of down pre-market another 10 or 15%, something like that. Now, I still kind of believe that it's still really not a good valuation. So 2 weeks ago, before the results came out, I said, and you can check this on Signal if you want, SentinelOne is valued at approximately 48 times forward sales, including the recent sell-off in its share price. Yes, I understand that the business clearly has a lot going for it, but when I look at other leading cybersecurity names, for example, CrowdStrike, that's priced at 27 times forward sales, why would I pay so much for SentinelOne? And that is the quote right there. So that's the problem also. So as expected, they put out a certain report. The guidance for Q4 blew my mind, to be absolutely fair, 100% year-over-year growth rates for Q4 2022. So with that in mind, I think, they're growing very, very fast, and I get the appeal. So, I mean, that angle, I fully get it. If you remember, I'm not sure if you followed it, but if you remember, CrowdStrike last week said on their earnings call, one of the largest nonprofit hospital systems in the US, which had initially been chosen by the recently public next generation vendor, this is what they were referring to, SentinelOne, based on price and promises features that were never delivered. So they came out, CrowdStrike, loaded. So I suspected that when SentinelOne would report their earnings call, they would also come out loaded. And this is what they said on the Q&A part of the call. Look at our margin. I mean, that would not have been possible without a very healthy price point for our offering. So to us, I mean, it's incredibly healthy. So the margin being healthy, that's the angle that they're going with. Now, here's the thing. As I stated in my previous several articles about SentinelOne, I can't see how this business is going to become meaningfully profitable anytime soon. So I didn't put out here. So just one thing I wanted to highlight. So when they're guiding for the next upcoming quarter, they're guiding for approximately mid-60s gross profit margins. Okay. Let's compare that now with CrowdStrike. As I said, I have no position in any of these names, but I just kind of want to highlight for you, okay? So CrowdStrike's non-GAAP subscription gross margin was 79%. Okay, so obviously that's the subscription side of the business model, and you have to account for that because there's some professional services thrown in there that are lower margin, but you're paying for the subscription business model, and that's really, mid-60s compared to high 70s just doesn't compare. The next point I wanted to make is that if you look out, so if you start with compressed gross margin profile, how are you going to become meaningfully profitable? So they're pointing for next quarter to be at negative 80% non-GAAP operating margin. And this compares with CrowdStrike Q4 positive non-GAAP income margin of 14%. Now you can say, okay, yeah, Michael, income margin and the operating margins don't really overlap, but that just fully validates my comment because the income margin is actually lower than the operating margin, obviously. So one is reporting 14% positive, one is going to report negative 80. Which one's better? At the time of writing, Sentinel is down just 12%. And if we were to make some assumptions here, okay, so if we were to presume that SentinelOne would smash through the expectations for analysts for next year, that would imply that the stock line would grow to approximately 360 million. That puts the stock right now at approximately, including the sell-off, at 31 times forward sales. Now, in cybersecurity, paying 31 times forward sales is not outrageous by any stretch of the imagination, and I get that, right? So you can look at Zscaler. Zscaler is also a cybersecurity name, also priced at 35 times forward sales. I get it. But the difference is that Zscaler just reported 10% of non-GAAP operating margins profit. Okay, so positive 10% versus negative 80%. So I get why people would pay a lot for this killer. I wouldn't, but I get it, right? It makes sense. It doesn't make sense in SentinelOne's case. Again, just to compare, CrowdStrike is priced at 24 times forward sales. Now, think about this, right? CrowdStrike in the next kind of quarter, probably in 2 quarters, at some point soon, is going to be on a 2 billion revenue run rate. Think about that. To grow at the pace the CrowdStrike is growing while reporting 2 billion of revenue run rate, it's apples and oranges. I mean, it's like I can't. Some people are so bullish this name, I just can't make sense of it. So I fully get it, right? So investors have been so kind of passionate about the invest at any price for growth, right? I get it, but you have to have a little bit of common sense because ultimately the trees don't grow to the sky. You gotta a little bit be a bit discerning. And also, as I said at the start of the talk, in the backdrop that we have right now, it's not only cybersecurity names that have sold off. There are meaningful amounts of stocks, high quality names that have meaningfully sold off. And I mean, it's a buyer's market. Anyway, if you want to find out what kind of names I'm buying right now, don't forget to check out my marketplace. It's called Deep Value Returns. I help you become a better investor, help you think through your portfolio, highlight insightful names that you can act on right now. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.